I'm back. Good enough, I suppose. All right, what's this? That looks like it'd be a pretty easy target. If only I had something with me that could outrange those Gowling. But that was not the type of mission I embarked upon when I left. This time. Maybe next time. Oh, we do still have that wreck. Let's go have a look at the wreck. 1.9, 1.8. I'll go ahead and lock on 2 just in case. All right. Okay, I see what looks like a couple of turrets. Top and bottom right there. Looks like a couple large thrusters. And like a flower or a cluster configuration towards the back there. Let's get that off screen. I see green emissive, so it's got power. Yeah, it's got power and it's got weapons. So I don't have anything that can outrange those weapons, so I don't think it's a good idea to mess with it. I really would like to go investigate that wreck, but I didn't bring a pointy sword with me, so I'm not equipped. All right, we'll do a 5K jump. Yeah, just a little bit. All right. Looks like iron and probably nickel. What are we looking at here? Looks like nickel into iron. All right. Can't complain about that. That's good stuff. I did not expect this configuration. Plunk. There we go. Oops. Neato. That's a big hole. That is pretty cool. I like this one. All right, where can we go? Ooh. Hey, what's up? Hey, buddy. Oh. Huh. Oh, pardon me. That's no. That's not right. That is not appropriate there. Hey, what's up, man? Why would you build your seat above on the glass here? That is an indication of a crazy person. Oh, here's a contract block. But there's nothing here, yeah. I thought I had included the mod. As a matter of fact, I thought that this grid was provided by the mod. Should be able to sell scrap heaps. I don't know how to do that though. All right, well, I don't need anything here. I guess we're done. Yeah, so as I expected, no actual contracts that I'm looking to complete. Like I'm looking for like just the regular vanilla contracts, the search or the acquisition, so I can get some money. 6456, okay. And it looks like cobalt, and at this rate, the unknown signals really seem to be the most reliable way of accumulating space credits. It's disheartening. Let's go. Cool. All right, asteroids. All right, I believe this is the first one. All right, 9586. That middle spike there's vexes me. It appears to be right over the tick mark for iron, but the middle tick for iron doesn't have anything really over it. All right, and there was a third and a fourth right there. Cool. All right, hey, stone, right on. And looks like uranium. Stone and uranium. That's a good thing to know. Knowing where I can find some away from everything else. That's worth noting. Oh, that's concerning. This no longer shows. Oh, yes, it does. Uranium and platinum. Oh, yeah. Oh, nice. How freaking time. Okay. So this appears to be silicon, and there's a spike above silver. Yeah, it looks like there's silver in here. I see two peaks above silver ticks. So there might be silver in there. That's okay though. This has uranium and platinum in it. Oh, that's nice. Cool. There it is. Is that platinum? I don't know. So rare that I have to find any. I guess we'll see. All right, let's see. And up. Oh, that's interesting. It did not go to high power like I told it to. And let's get up. This looks like nickel. This is nickel. It's not what I wanted. I'm actually kind of annoyed about that. Okay, is it one of these somehow? All right, this looks like platinum and uranium. I guess it's that one. There's my little ship. Head towards that. Well, there's a lot of activity out there. I'm not too happy about that. All right, let's take a glance here real quick. This one, platinum and uranium. All right, great. All right, let's go get the miner. Oh, missed it by that much. All right, I don't need to worry about all the other stuff. Let's just shut those bad boys down. Let's get inside. Let's see here. Hydrogen's at 92. Sweet. What's our air? 100%. All right, cool. Ember. 3.8. That. 3.3. All right, I don't like that at all. You're coming way too fast. Oh, fuck. Big rock there. Is that the one? Damn, I don't know where they came from. You know, the funny thing is, the funny thing is weird. The weird thing is funny. The funny weird thing is, I was just watching a guy earlier today playing, and he'd loaded in. It seemed like he didn't have anything particularly unusual. He had like a cert and I think Ember, the standard three, like Ember, Assert, and Incom, whatever. I think it seemed like all he had, right? And they were, and he started a game, and they were just pounding the crap out of him. He had a modest little base that he started at, and he was like, "Yeah, I'm gonna build my stuff up, do my thing, and da 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 da." And it was like, "Oh, drone attack. Oh, and more drones. Oh, how about some drones? Hey, I heard you like drones. Here's some drones." And it was just insane. He was like, "Oh, I'm gonna turn this off. I'm not making any." I mean, they were just pounding him to dust. Felt bad for him. And the weird thing is, like, I've only once ever experienced a scenario like that. Now, I'm not saying it was like his fault or anything like that. But what I'm saying is, it's weird that, like, I have the same MES mods. I also have other mods like Perpetually Perturbed Pirates. It's like they supposedly always hate you. And then I've also got, I've manually added a handicap, an MES handicap, so that basically the MES threat system will consider me always to be like an end game player, like maximally established with maximal like resources available and all that. There's like a number offset you can just add. You're just like, just treat me as if my threat score was whatever. And so I'm like, yeah, just set it like plus 50,000 or whatever. And in spite of that, like, and most of my games are like that, have those same changes. And I really rarely encounter bad guys. And like that just now with the kind of the three flying around sort of in close proximity is really the highest intensity I've really ever encountered in a long time. Which is so weird because I have the same mods and then I have these handicap settings, and I just they're like, at most or at worst it's usually like, well, there's something in the distance flying by. If you want to engage, you can. And this poor guy was like, oh man, I felt so bad. He was just I mean, he must have been hit by like 15 drones like in the space of 5 minutes. And not little drones either, like big ones, like the kind that like they were targeting on him. They were in the air. His base was like constantly shooting at them, and they were not dying. Like they were taking damage, but like, you know, the little drones, you shoot them and they kind of almost immediately disintegrate. But these were like taking the hits, and like he even had a assault turret, and it was like, you know, boom boom. The drones were looking at him, and the cannon was like blammo, point blank, both shots hit, and the thing's just kind of like, okay, I'm still coming after you. And I've never experienced that. So, and it's weird because I have things in my game that should, I don't want it that bad. Don't get me wrong, but like I have settings in that I've been using for, well, literally a couple of years now in my games. They've never been that bad. It's so strange. Um, yeah, it's just an observation. I don't know what to do or make of that. I'm not saying he was doing anything wrong or anything, or like anything at all like that. I'm just noting it's strange that um he and I have some, all the settings, all the mods he had as far as MES goes. I think I have the same ones. I also have additional ones that are supposed to make it harder, and yet of the two of us, he was in sad shape. Um, and I don't understand why that is. Um, why it would work like that. Always kind of felt like the MES mods were sort of like half magic, anyways. Hey, there's something. Let's see what that is. Okay, that might be platinum. Cool. The reason I mention it is simply because like I've had like the perpetually perturbed pirates and the threat value handicap. Like I've been using these for, this is my third sort of series, and prior to this, like I've had it in all three of this series. I've had it like that. I've had those mods and those changes, and then in just my offline games or my non-stream games or whatever, I've had them as well, and I've never encountered that intensity of hostility. And I don't understand why. It's very weird. Again, I don't want it to be that bad, but I mean, damn. All right, let's see here. Let's see, one. Okay, we're ready to connect, and we're locked. Fuel is back up to 92. That's pretty awesome. All right, let's get over here. Here we go. All right, vector thrust system on. Batteries are good. Here we go. And ore detector's already showing that it's platinum. That is fantastic. And now I'll just watch the red and make sure it doesn't come too close to me. All right, flashing red. I'll connect, offload here. Oh, there we go. And we're in proximity with the connector, so we'll go to high power so we can take off. There we go. Looking good. dump the inventory here. Alright. Grill's on. Sorter's on. Drone fighter, 12. Closing fast. Okay. I don't like how fast he's closing. At all. Alright, what do we have? Alright, he's at 7 kilometers. No, there's 3 of them now. Oh, there's 2 embers and an assert. Oh, I didn't recognize that. The drone fighter is ember. The gas hauler is assert. Well, maybe they'll fight each other. That would be fantastic. Oh, here we go. Oh. Yeah, I think he's just doing a random walk. They're just, I guess they're just so fast that they can cover 10 kilometers in the blink of an eye, and it can be unnerving. I just realized, so I normally, there are a lot of things I do that I forget that I do, and I forget why I do them. And one of those is like, has to do with antennas. I tend to leave antennas turned off, or I'll set the range pretty short. Like the antenna on the green base is set like 500 meters because I was using it while I was configuring stuff, and so I didn't I needed to be able to access the base terminal while I was outside it, but not that far away. So I'll tune the ranges down a lot, or just leave them off. Like the antenna on this ship, I think is set to like 3 kilometers, but it's off, right? And I'm only going to turn it on if I plan to take this ship far away, like to the far side of an asteroid or something. And I know it's hard to find visually. And I just remembered I was reading in the comments of that guy I was just talking about. Someone made the comment that he had all his antennas on and broadcasting or whatever, and a few of the other comments gave me the impression that he might have been somewhat new to the game. So if that's true, then it's possible that he was, when he built his antennas, I think they're on by default, and I think the range is, it's not small. It's like 5 kilometers, or is it 20 or something? But if they were on, and then the base that appeared next to him, like the MES base, was like, it was not that far away. It was like maybe 5 kilometers away. So that might have been why he was getting so many drones, because his antennas were on, just constantly broadcasting, and the base was within range. Maybe that's why he's getting attacked so bad, and I'm over here like, I don't know, I just never get attacked that bad. And it's because I've learned, like, I've spent time, like with the Reavers mod and the Orcs mod and all that, and Pravda, and you kind of learn, like, I'm trying to think of the right way to put it. It's like a, don't waste, right? Like, if you don't need an antenna on, don't turn it on. If you don't need to go fast, don't waste the fuel going fast. I'm not sure what the right way to express that is, but that is generally how I play. So maybe that's why. Maybe that's what the difference is and then why he was getting like attacked so badly, and I just haven't. Because it's just really striking. I'm like, we have almost the same mods as far as that stuff goes, and yet he was. Man, I felt bad. But there's something else in that vein that, anyway, it was a long time ago. It was on a server, and there were some changes being made, and some people were with any change, right? Some people like it, some people don't. I don't know. It had to do with shields. All right, let's disconnect. And the arguments were kind of like people wanted the shields, whatever the change was being made. Some people wanted them because they're like, you put them on your miners because your miners are like eggs, right? And they're so fragile and they're so delicate and it's so easy to your tiniest little bump into the wall of the hole you're digging and they just blow up. And it turns out that what was going on, um, a lot of the people with these complaints on the server were using hydrogen powered miners and basically using like very overpowered hydrogen powered miners. So like and then they were trying to like fly fast. Like they weren't being patient, right? They're like, oh, I've got all this power and speed and zoom, zoom, zoom. And of course, right? You feel like, well, I was only going 30 meters a second. Sorry, it sounds um, like judgy or whatever. I don't mean it like that. Just like that was the difference, right? It's like I was I didn't see it as a problem, and I didn't understand why some of these other people did, right? And the difference was the approach to what we were doing, right? Some people were basically using things that had really high accelerations that were basically you couldn't go slow, right? Because they had so much power, which is probably not what you want to have as a characteristic of something that needs to fly inside tunnels and mine boxes, you know. So, uh, people play and so like that's my perspective is like, well, you are basically you've designed a machine with in a way that does not well fit what you're trying to use it for, and unfortunately, a lot of the argument, the responses would be like, well, people could play the way they want to play, and it's like, well, absolutely, people can play the way they want to play. That doesn't change the fact, right? Like that's like if I build um, a um, a spaceship with absolutely no armor. It's just fuel tank, cockpit, and a lot of guns. And I try and go do battles against other players, and one shot keeps blowing me up, and then I'm complaining, right? It's like people, and then my response is, well, I want to play the way I want to play. Like, yeah, absolutely. Nobody's stopping me from building, a hydrogen fuel tank and weapons in a cockpit, right? Um, However, objectively, that is not a good approach for designing a ship if you want to fight other players, right? So I felt like um, that's kind of what was going on, and a lot of people were like, well, if we made whatever the change had to do with shields, they're like, if we made this change, then it would help those players, and my attitude is like, I don't really like that approach. Anyway, yeah, it was just it kind of was like a big argument on the server of like whatever the change was to do with shields and implementing the shields, and I kind of felt like I'm like, well, and it might be biased, right? Because I didn't actually have the problem that the admins were trying to address with shields, or the advocates were for the shields were saying, oh, we need the shields because if miners blow up so easy. I'm like, my miners have literally never blown up, right? They just never, like, sometimes I'll damage them. It is super, super rare. Like, I don't have the problem. I don't know. It was just like, there were some very strong feelings about it. And this was several years ago. So, there's no point naming names or anything like that. But it was just like, yeah. Yes, of course, you're welcome to play the game the way you want, 100%. But that that doesn't mean that like all approaches should be. I don't want to say it doesn't mean all approaches should be equally valid, because in some contexts, I do think that should be true, but in other contexts, I don't. Right. So in this particular one, I was like, I don't think you should add a mod to a server because one very small subset of people are like to solve a problem that a small subset of people have when there are already solutions to that problem, and anyway, so I forget where all that came from. I'm sure whatever point I thought I was going to make, I'm sure I never got around to making it. There we go. Yeah. I do generally advocate against shields. This is completely unrelated, but since I mentioned shields, I see a lot of people like they'll make suggestions like on the Keen Discord or on the feedback forum website or on servers. Right? It's like, oh, add shields, add shields, add shields. Everybody wants shields, which I get. Right? You made a thing, like I made that thing. I don't want my first engagement with bad guys to have it basically blown up, right? Because repairing things is a freaking pain in the ass. So I can appreciate that, right? I don't want that. But think like in a single player game, right? If you have shield, if you say, okay, I have shields, and the enemies, the NPCs, don't have shields, the game becomes extremely easy, right? You can basically just mow through them with impunity, and at that point, that's kind of lame, right? I'll caveat that though, because obviously everyone is welcome. Like everyone can play the game the way they want to play, right? The easy mode is a thing that exists in games for a reason, and there's nothing wrong with that at all. It does seem a little unfair, but hey, if you're having fun, knock yourself out, right? Now, when you go to a server and if you're doing the same thing and you're playing against, say, like, there's other players, then you're fighting NPCs. If you have shields and the NPCs don't, it's the same. Essentially it's the same, right? You're like, hey, that's how you want to play. That's fine. Now there are other new factors involved. For example, if it's easy to take out to like farm the NPCs for resources, then that might be unbalancing, considering there are other players that you are ultimately either directly or indirectly competing against, right? And that is what it is, right? Now, as soon as you have, and then then the three scenarios that are left are you're playing on your own game, and the NPCs also have shields. You're playing on a server, and the NPCs also have shields, or you're playing on a server against other players, and of course, if players have shields, then players have shields, right? So basically, it's three scenarios, but really it's three aspects of one, and that is either you have shields and your enemies don't, or you have shields and your enemies do, right? So if you have shields and your enemies don't, the game's fairly easy, right? And if it's a single player game, again, if that's what you like to do, that's cool, no problem at all. If it's a multiplayer environment, you have potential balance issues, right? But whatever, if that's the environment the admins want to create, that's totally cool. But when you're playing against other players, what happens is this, right? Shields are extremely difficult to implement well. It's not the shield, like the protective part, that's hard to implement. It's basically the cost of the shield that is hard to implement, because what happens is the shield mods that I've seen usually work like they take their cues from science fiction TV shows, like like in Star Trek, like put more power to the shield. Okay, well, if you say that on TV, then that suggests, which is reasonable, that the more power you have, the stronger your shields are, the longer they last, or whatever. That makes a lot of sense. And if you make a shield mod that relies on power for either its strength or its longevity, what you have just done is created an environment where the ship that has the most power production is the one that will win. Basically, what it will come down to is who has the greater power production, right? So what happens is that all the designs that everyone makes are optimized for power production, and you get basically flying bricks. There we go. You get flying bricks with guns on one side, like a wall of guns on one side, and a wall of thrusters on the other side. And the reason you get that is because um, the brick is full of power production because you want to maximize your shield capability, duration, strength, whatever, right? At the same time, and then on the front of your ship or whatever, where your wall of guns is, you use a wall of guns because you want to maximize the speed with which you can drain the other person's shield, right? And of course, you have because it's all, and then you put on a wall of thrusters so that you can move as fast as possible, which helps you evade shots and minimize the drain on your own shields. So it all just that little like requirement basically creates a scenario where like all designs um, kind of converge on the same very simple concept. The thing that I don't like about that is it makes the game very simple and consequently very boring, right? Um, because the optimal design is like there's no variation in it, right? There's very little variation in it. So um, that's the problem with shields, right? That's the problem with implementing shields. Like it's not that like defending against like reducing damage, incoming damage, or deflecting shots or whatever. It's what does it cost to operate those shields? Figuring out a good answer to that and a good solution for that is very tricky. If you want to do it in a way that doesn't um, basically cause the game or your server to devolve into a very simple uh, like strategic, like very simple strategy. It becomes very simple. And then and I don't know, for me, like part of the great appeal of this game and games like this is building things, right? And being creative and combining function and form, or aesthetics, making things neat, right? But in most of the servers I've been on where they have PvP or they encourage PvP and they have shields, um, ship designs kind of all converge to the same general design, and it's boring. I don't like it. That's me. That's what I don't like. Right? It doesn't mean it's wrong, but what it illustrates is it illustrates my point in that when you have like the reason I don't like shields is because it has that effect on the game, right? And it means that like this ship that I'm using here is not practical, right? It's not that all designs should be practical, but like um it I don't know, it rules out a lot of options for a lot of gameplay that I think is I think that's a detriment. Let's go. Yeah, I think that's a detriment to the game and to the possibilities. So that's why whenever I see people advocate for shields, I'm like, no, you don't want shields. Like I think there's a saying in game design that says when players complain about something in your game being a problem, they are usually right. You know, um, at the same time, when players um, advocate for a solution to a problem in a game, they're usually wrong. So, and I think shields are a good example of that, right? Um, if you step back and you say, why do people always want shields? And the reason is because, like, well, I don't want my ship to get blown up, right? I put all this time and effort to build it, and I don't want to get blown up. Okay, why don't you want to get it? Why don't you want it to be blown up? Well, because then it's gone, right? Or because then I have to repair it, and repairing it is tedious and it's hard, and you don't like there might be parts blown up that you can't get to because you like a lot of designs, like if you were to design a ship that you could actually get to and repair every part of that ship, it would be quite big with a lot of walkways. It'd be pretty cool, but that's really hard, right? And we just want to play and sit and make a cool looking ship, right? So basically, what I suspect is the case is the actual problem is that repairing ships is a pain in the butt, right? The problem I think that players are the reason people like Shield is because they're like, yeah, repairing ships is a pain, right? And every time you get into a battle, ships get so badly damaged that you can't use them again. Like you get 30 seconds of battle, and then your ship is ruined and destroyed, and it's 4 hours of repair, right? So that's like, for example, I've experienced that, right? So yeah, that 100% sucks. So I think that's why people are like, oh, I like shields. I thought I just deleted that part. Look at the reason people are asking for the thing, and look at what can we do to address that. For example, like I've seen I see a lot of servers have both, like they have build-in repair as a mod, and then they also have shields. And then usually when they have build-in repair, they're like, okay, but you're limited to like, you can only own 2, or 1 per grade or something like that. And that's actually a pretty good solution to the problem of, well, my thing got blown up, right, and damaged. Because the thing that the builder repair can do is it can get to the areas that you can't, and you don't even need to know. Like you can look at something and it looks fine, but you don't realize that it's damaged, like armor or something. And the build and repair knows about it and can go and fix it, right? So, if you had a build and repair, and I know they're currently balanced, so they work pretty slow, so as to kind of keep them balanced against other welding and grinding things, elements of the game. But if you took the build and repair and cranked up the speed that they worked, that might be suitable, right? Because then you've got a case where I don't have to be able to get to every part of my ship to repair it, and it's not a hassle or difficult to repair my ship, right? And if you have that speed up really high, you might have it like, I don't know, not saying this is a perfect solution. I'm just saying this would be one possible solution, or a starting point for a solution. Is you could take it, and I'm also coming from the perspective of like, I don't normally use build and repair. This game is the first in years that I've ever used it, and it was someone suggested I use it, and I was like, fuck it, sure. But as an example, right? Instead of shield, you could give build and repairs a high like speed or whatever, and then you could get into battles, and if you got like 30-second battle, might destroy your ship, but that's okay, because once you're out of battle, like you can go and continue to play the game with, say, like your other ships while your ship gets better or something like that, or I don't know, like I said, it's not, I'm not suggesting it's a perfect solution. I'm just saying that like there are other solutions to address the underlying problem that most advocates of shields have, even though they may not articulate that like, this is the reason I want shields. All right, let's do another jump. I definitely have this bookmark. Yes. All right, so let's do another jump. Anyway, just to be clear, I'm not like, what I was saying about the build and repair is not, I'm not saying that is a better solution or a complete solution or anything like that. I'm just saying that when you look at the underlying problem that the player is complaining about, even if they're not directly complaining about it, most people who advocate for shields cannot or do not articulate the actual reason they want the shields. They just say, I want my shield so my ship doesn't get blown up, right? Or damaged or whatever. but there's a layer under it they may not consciously realize. But when you look at that, then you can start to come up with ideas of like what are other possible, solutions that might address that. And that's the really cool part of game design, is figuring that out, coming up with solutions, and then trying them out, and then seeing how they work. Because a lot of times, because what I see is that a lot of times you'll come up with a solution that's like, okay, you said you wanted shield. I think, right, based on what I've seen, that this is the underlying reason you're asking for shields. So I came up with this other solution, which is literally not shields, but this other thing. So I want you to try it. You'll discover that that's a really cool solution, and it opens up like other opportunities for engaging with the game in some way or somehow, which is really, really satisfying. Um, I think a good game designer more often than come up with a solution that actually delivers what the player really wants, even the players that know that's what they want. And then when they try it out, they're like, "Oh yeah, this is awesome. This is great," And they because their actual problem was solved. Uh, well, I haven't seen any more trade stations. Let's just. I'm kind of thinking what I should do is jump all the way to this silly planet. Yeah, let's do 1,000 kilometers. Let's try that. All right. Can't do it again. All right. 1,000 kilometers. Let's go. All right. Can burn some gas. Get going. We have a pretty good top speed here. Let's have a look at this guy as we fly by. 6. All right, 7583 8922. All right, you are. All right, I see stone and ice. That's not very exciting. Sure. Yep. Look at my fish. What are you guys doing? You're not moving. Oh, let's do it. I'm gonna get spun around in case I need to stop real fast before entering the gravity field. Oof, there we are. Man, I can see that thing getting closer. That is. Let's go ahead and stop. Turn you on. Planetary gravity 0.06. Man, that was close. Make our way over to them. That'll get us out of the planetary gravity. All right, let's look at this other one. I may want to go there instead. There we go. All right, 7366. What do we have? Looks like cobalt and gold. All right. Oh. Okay. That's interesting. Why am I... Oh, that was weird. 7366. All right, this is cobalt. And gold. All right, so this area seems to have a lot of gold in it. Which, all right, that's cool. Whoa, heck. We'll get this. I don't see any weapons. Oh wait, I see a interior turret on the far right there. I see an antenna that is off. And I see a lot of flashing and green lights. I see a lot of green lights and some flashing lights, which is indicative of an infested ship. Let's close the distance on this. And I'm going to try and take out the communications immediately. Oops. There. A small interior turret there. Or there's an interior turret there. I don't see... I see an ore detector. Sweet. Got some free shots off on the antenna. Nice. Okay, I see Gatling turret. All right, nice. Oop. I'm curious what weapons it's shooting at, because I don't see anything at the direction it's pointing. We all right? Took a few hits there. Yeah. Okay, I think that was... Yep. That was that gun. Oh, fuck. Oh, we got dented. Oh, cool. Oh shit. Oh no, those bastards. Oh my Oh, that is individuals shooting. So this has a crew and it's infested. Oh man, they are having a bad day. I'm gonna be having a bad day. Oh my goodness. Whoa. Oh shit. Oh man. All right. Alrighty. Well, I guess I'll jump back home. Let's mark this dangerous wreck. I think it's infested and crewed. Yeah. Sweet. Cool. Hey. All right. Back to my broken TV, I think. Television. Yeah, it's still broken. All right. Well, just gonna chill. And that'll be it. I will see you guys next time. Thanks for hanging out.